join discord.gg/flatearth and enter a check-in room. Someone will come along and verify you to get involved in the conversation about our Earth.
Right. So then how would you explain that on your globe? And don't say spin. Don't say spin, because spin would make you fly off.
Okay. So okay, I don't really get
Centripetal force is a lie on Earth. If you're talking about spin, it would be centrifugal force, and that's not occurring.
Wait,
Yeah.
well, then what is making things lighter on the equator than on the pole?
It's not a correlation to the shape of the Earth.
I'm not talking about the shape of the Earth. I'm talking about the spinning.
We're talking about the shape of Earth here. I don't know what server you think you're on, but this is the Flat Earth server.
I know.
So let's see. A ball that's spinning, like was said.
The question was brought up to him about spin.
I thought I was talking.
He asked about sun.
Every diameter, like I was about to say, every diameter of a ball getting larger in diameter means you're moving faster.
And
Is this not the same thing? Oh, you're talking about gravity only? You're not talking about motion, right?
No, I was talking about spin. We were talking about spin, and then he invoked that you weigh less at the equator than you do in the North Pole.
yeah, and well,
So-
what I'm talking about right now is more specifically on a flat Earth, where the gravity should be the same everywhere, right?
Should it?
Nobody's claiming gravity.
You're mixing up
Well, if you
claims
ask
now.
Neil to go, if you ask Neil,
Listen.
hang on, listen to me.
Hold on, Michael. We got this for now. But
Okay, no. Okay, I'm not gonna say gravity. Okay, so let me repeat. So on a flat Earth, where you should weight the same everywhere.
Who made that claim?
yeah.
You're making a straw in your mind, and you're trying to burn me.
That is what.
Yeah.
Okay, calm down.
Who
That
on
is
flat
what I'm asking.
Earth?
Is
Alexa, who in
Yes.
flat Earth has made that claim that we should all
I'm
be
I'm
that we should be
asking
evenly
if that
distributed?
claim. Okay, I'm asking if that claim is right or wrong for you.
We're not
Does
making
on a
that
flat
claim.
Earth
We're not making that claim.
No, I'm
Listen.
asking if that claim is right or not.
We're not
According
making
to
the
you.
claim. So
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. You're saying on the flat. This is what you're telling us. On the flat Earth, weight should be evenly distributed, but nobody on flat Earth has ever made that claim, ever.
Okay, so then I'm not gonna go further on that. So I think I'm just gonna mute myself, prepare my
worries.
other argument.
okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Well,
We
let me just-
appreciate your patience, dude.
Yeah, I'll just explain something real quickly. Is that because people like to do this a lot? Is well, on a flat Earth, it should do this and it should do that. It should do this. You got to keep in mind that when we say flat Earth, we're just talking about the Earth outside. We're not creating a new idea. We're just going outside, observing it, testing it, and we're going, okay, it's flat out here. So for those out there, this isn't directed at you, Lexa, but for those out there, they're like, how does GPS work? And how does this work? And how does that work? Well, if the Earth is actually flat and it's still working, then it works. So I was like, so I don't know about this weighing different in different places. I've heard that before. It's not something that I've tested personally, so I guess I'll stay neutral on that. But say that actually is true, and the Earth is still flat, then I mean, what's the big deal? But we're not making the claim as to like it's the Globers that are making the claim that things are different in different places. So I guess that would be on you guys to verify that or whatever. So
Yeah, listen, if you were lighter at the equator, that place is spinning faster. Wouldn't you more easily? Like things should be flying away. Actually, more easy. Things that are lighter should be flying off the surface.
Like I talk about
Good
CBs.
point.
Go ahead, James.
Hey, so you know how you are in the machine that you go to you go to the attractions and you are inside the gravity machine, right? And it pulls you up because it's spinning and spinning faster. What happens if you're not strapped and kind of like locked into this thing? It will
Gravity
fly
holds you
away,
down.
don't you, Lexa? Lexa, what happens if you're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour? What happens to the water, to the things on the surface? What happens, Lexa? In reality, what happens? Come on, Lexa.
Okay. So
What's the answer, Lexa? What happens when something is on the surface of a ball and the ball starts spinning very fast? What happens to that stuff on the surface of the ball? What happens, Lexa?
they will fly away.
There you go.
But can I say something plus that?
You can, but I just want to say real quick, and that's centrifugal force.
Yeah, and what I was saying here is that there is centrifugal force in the global theory. There is centrifugal force. I think I don't know if I said it right.
You got it.
But it's not that much because when you were saying I think the gravity machine, I don't know, the thing was making you spin fast. You are having a lot of acceleration because you how to explain it? Anyway, a bit hard to say to me, but whatever. The important thing is that compared to the size of the Earth, if the Earth were to be spinning at I'm not sure what it was, but if the Earth were to be spinning at the rate we've been told it is, we won't fly away because the acceleration would be not enough. But I don't know for you, but I think it would be better to go on other subjects if I would prefer. If you
Sure,
like
we can move on. If anybody want to touch on the last point, and then we can move on. If not, we can move on now. Go ahead.
I think I'm good. Sheepdog, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Lexa, you good? Any last statements on the spin?
Yes.
No.
There was a
not
gentleman.
really.
There was a gentleman who was a mechanical engineer, and he attempted to calculate what that centrifugal feel would be on the surface of a spinning ball. And Taboo Conspiracy got an email from this gentleman and a video from this gentleman explaining. And if you're, away from the equator, you should feel about an apple pulling you towards the equator, according to this mechanical engineer. And I can find the video. Give me a moment.
Cool. Shout out to
There
Jimmy.
you go, Alex. We can conclude with that, and the guy's gonna provide a video, hopefully, and we can conclude that this argument is not at all evidence for a curving, spinning water ball, right? We can agree with that, right?
I have one last thing. One last
Yeah.
thing I'd like to add to that. You're going to need a radial value for that.
Yeah. Well, it was a good round one. Round two coming soon.
Okay.
And shout out to Lexa. Been a good sport. So yeah, just a quick intermission. Maybe a quick word from our sponsor, perhaps. You guys got to keep the bills paid in here. So
You have a sponsor?
yeah, so make sure you guys.
In case you're wondering,
somebody's got some background noise. Who's oh, Michael.
Is that me?
No,
Am I?
somebody else. No worries, you're good. You're good. But yeah, make sure you guys check out our sponsor. In one of my songs, I mentioned how we have Space Cash and Space DoorDash. So make sure you guys hit up Space DoorDash and order some Spaceys.
And where can you find all this spectacular space food? At Spacey's. Now with our new Raditz menu. Spacey's. It's good food in space.
Do they have any like gravity fries?
Can I get the extra gravity on that burger?
Did they have like globe round burgers or flat burgers?
And just for future reference, Lexa, whenever you invoke like weighing less has to do with the spin of the Earth or weighing more has to do with the spin of the Earth, you're gonna have to show direct correlation with that, man. Like, you can't be having like mental gymnastics, jumping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and that's the causation. And like kind of like string theory or whatever. It's just it doesn't happen like that, man. It's not science. Not science.
I know. Can you imagine? Think about the diversity. Think about the duality of like globe earthers making comedy about flat earthers. What are they going to say? Like, oh, those flat earthers, they're going by reality, their own observations, and trusting their senses. Foolish. But we, on the other hand, are going like, we're actually measuring. The globe Earth is saying it's curved at this rate, and at the surface, we don't find any of that. That's really funny.
You trust your senses? What are you, a flat earther?
I know. Yeah, hilarious.
Lexa, Jimmy Will posted that video for you if you want to put that in your browser before we move on to the next topic.
And you guys, I mean, I'm sure y'all are aware, except for the Glovers, because they will never admit this. But we've heard some ridiculous freaking arguments for the globe. I mean, I would have somebody like auditing this material that's getting out on the internet because it's really putting the globe Earth in the most foolish light that it could possibly be, because these people are coming in here as spokespeople for the globe. And they know nothing at all about their globe, which is really just very strange.
I think we need some NASA visitors.
They're not even sure if they had a meal ever in their life. They're not sure about that.
I know, right? How embarrassing.
I think maybe we need some NASA visitors to come in here and like set everything straight. If you're out there listening, NASA, we would love to have you come in here.
Yeah, if you come in, we'll give you a free case of our sponsor.
Of Spacey's Burgers.
Boy, Spice Forex. Spice Forex. Because Spice VB is pissed.
Yeah. And maybe you could reduce your budget of like, those little, what do they call them? Sweat boxes where people are in rows of phones and cubicles, harassing flat earthers. Maybe you could reduce that budget. Visit us a little, come and say hi.
Yeah, that'd be nice. This has been a good chat, folks. Shout out to the whole panel. A couple of people chiming in. We got Sunny. We got Sheepdog, Gemsy. A bunch of legends in the panel.
Lexa.
And Lexa, yeah. Shout out to Lexa as well.
And Lexa,
great sport.
Yeah, thanks.
I think Lexa has another question, or maybe he's gonna bring up another topic because he was preparing the topic before, and now he most likely has another topic. Whenever you're ready, Lexa.
I mean, I don't know. Are we still on the spin? Are we still detecting spin? Like, is there another way that you would like to detect spin?
Oh, no. We moved on from that.
Yeah, I think he wants to get away from that one.
All right. I'm just making sure because, sometimes like, you make an attempt to argue and you fail and you're like, well, let me try a different argument on the same subject.
A different approach to the same argument. Yeah. But you need a radius for that. You need a radius for any of that. So.
For the spin, yeah.
Yeah, we actually, you're right about that. You could piecemeal that stuff apart into like 12 different sections for each topic, really. You know, there's like for every point that the globe Earth thinks they have, we have 12 ways of dissecting it and tearing it to shreds and then just throwing it in the dumpster fire.
So I guess like the final question we would have is like gas pressure without a container, right?
Okay. So to explain that, we need to explain gravity. And can't explain right now. I'm just doing some little thing research. I'll just tell you when I'm ready. You can go ahead and talk about something else.
That's no problem. Actually, to show anything to prove gravity, you'd have to show an experiment, literally. And so, good luck with that. So, if you can find us an experiment, it has to have an internal experimental variable that is independent, and so you have to be able to manipulate that one. So, an experiment to be valid has to have a independent variable that you are manipulating.
And by manipulating, I mean, like I would probably venture to say you'd have to be able to turn it off or double the value or triple the value, show that the value increases.
Yeah, like I would say this, like in order to have an independent control variable of the stars as they rotate above us, right? The phenomenon is real. We do see lights in the sky moving around us in a circular pattern, right, from east to west. And to try to change that, you would have to stop, slow down, or speed up the speed of that rotation. Good luck. Right? Am I off on that, or would you have to do you could do something else? I suppose. Like I'm trying to think of what other way. I think that would be the only way to control that, because that's what the phenomenon is. You're seeing them rotate around us, over the top of us. So you would have to manipulate that. Am I correct there?
Yes, but you can't even get there.
I know that voice.
Hi, Jedi.
Hi.
What's up, Jedi?
What's up, my friend? I've only jumped into the conversation halfway. Whatever you're talking about, it sounds about right. But even if you're talking about a light in the sky and the phenomena of it moving, you don't even know what the light in the sky is. Anything to cause that it's fucking moving in the first place.
Right.
So you can't get past the observation of the phenomena because you don't actually know what a phenomena is.
Right. We don't know what it is, where, or even where it is. We don't know where it is or what its source is. Yes, we don't.
Wait, but what if you get a telescope? Doesn't that tell you what it is?
No.
Yeah, hell no.
You know what some people in the quantum. You know what some people in the quantum physics arena are thinking is going on with these people that are looking through telescopes. They're saying now, or they've said for a while actually, that these people that are looking through the telescopes are actually creating it because they're collapsing the wave feature. The further out they look, it's not there until they actually see it. That they're creating it themselves. It's hilarious.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey,
anything
Fat Man.
going on right now?
We're in between rounds here, perhaps. But go ahead.
I just wanted to confirm the deepest part of the ocean is what, 7 point something miles?
Sounds about right.
The Mariana Trench.
That's about right.
Okay, and we're controlling 3 rovers and a helicopter on Mars, 75 million fucking miles away, right? That's right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, according to what we're being told, right?
Yeah. They're telling us, yeah.
So there's this submarine that sunk, and there's some guys stuck on it, but they can't seem to find the fucking thing.
Oh, they're dead for sure.
Yeah, they're gone.
No, but isn't it weird that something could get lost in less than 7 miles of water, but we're controlling 3 rovers and a helicopter 75 million fucking miles away?
Exactly. Can you think of what a cluster that is? If they're trying to direct radio waves or transmission waves from one place to another that far away with all the spinning going on, are you kidding me? Really?
Oh yes, I forgot we're spinning too. That's right.
No, there's other things spinning in front of us too. So like that, like we're on Earth spinning, right? So at points in a single direction towards whatever that supposed planet is or whatever. So sometimes we're not in view of it, so we're missing transmission there. Then there's other things orbiting around in front of us.
We're tracking thousands of them.
And then each one of those are spinning too.
Oh my goodness.
So
I'm getting dizzy.
How are you getting transmissions from, how far away is it? 9 million miles to Mars? I forget. I should look it up.
Oh, I was off by a couple tens of millions then. I thought it was 73 million, but whatever.
I don't know. Well,
it's something like that because it's like I don't remember how to explain it.
From the sun, or
keeping track of a submarine.
No,
in the water.
from Earth to Mars, it's like 70 million miles.
Yeah, there you go.
It varies. In the model,
keep track of that submarine. No, can't do that.
140 million miles. Yeah, you're right.
Has Sonny CB? Has anybody tried to speak to the blind spot?
No, I have. I spoke to him earlier, but if he wants to open his mic, he can. He recently woke up to all of this. If you'd like to share your story, Blind Spot, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I was on here earlier today with Sheepdog and some of the other people, just listening to learn, just enjoying the conversation. I've got a lot to learn, so you guys are doing good work, and I was impressed with Lexa's, I guess, attitude, right, and his disposition. Yeah.
Well, I think it's been what's the word? Refined. I think people usually come back better after a few rounds. The first couple rounds were a little they were a little bit more energetic. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. No, I thought he was whatever. You know, you hear a lot of
he's
these
doing great
shows and whatnot, and
he's doing great.
People usually go crazy. So I thought it was good to have reasonable conversation where you just present the evidence and evaluate the position.
Yep.
So
I think he's been through the ringer once or twice in here, so he kind of I think the attitude has been shifted. But yeah, shout out to Lexa. You've been a great sport today.
Yeah, man. Blind Spot. Did you want to share the story about that trip to New Orleans you took with a friend?
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, I've only been kind of, I suppose, looking into the concepts for about, let's say 8 weeks. It's probably been 2 months. And, I've got a buddy of mine at work, colleague of mine. He's into, a lot of different conspiracy theories, as am I, right? Whatever. It's good fun. I don't mind connecting some dots here and there and blaming the global elite for most of the ills of the world. But, I had to go to New Orleans. It's about a 5-hour drive. And so he's like, we're just talking about something. He said, look, there's another conspiracy theory that, when I tell people, they kind of laugh at me. And I'm like, oh, and I've heard just about everything, right? Including Flat Earth at the time. But I think he was a little nervous. So he's like, I said, well, what is it? He's like, well, it's kind of like the Flat Earth. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, listen to this podcast. And so he put on, I think it's a newer podcast called The Flat Earth Files. And we listened to that probably for 5 hours on the way there and 5 hours on the way back. So a good 10 hours. And again, like I was telling Sheepdog, there's a lot of good points or a lot of interesting points in the podcast, but there's also a lot of, kind of baseless assertions, which I think you'll just get with a lot of the conspiracy theory community in general. There's certain things we can prove and certain things we can't. But nonetheless, it kind of intrigued me. And so it made me, I ended up kind of finding the FED community and Nathan Oakley's channel and just been kind of binge watching, listening to various Flat Earth Debates episodes. And what I appreciate there, and they're the ones that put me onto 24/7, by the way. So what I appreciate about, I suppose, both communities at this point is just the factual based nature of the investigation, period. Right? I mean, I think that's a good summary. It's no bullshit, right?
Are you the guy that I heard on? I listened to last night on a short of Nathan Oakley's.
Oh,
I
don't know.
I think I heard
Am I
you.
in a
Yeah,
short?
yeah. Yeah. He made a short. Well, not a short. It's about 11 minutes. But yeah, he made a short clip. He made a clip where you're talking on FAD. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go look at that.
Hey,
Look at that. I'm internet
hey,
famous.
how's it going?
Who knew?
Welcome in.
But go ahead. Sorry,
Famous, bro.
I was interrupting you. What were you saying?
No, I'm sorry. Continue on. I was just.
But no,
yeah,
it's that's the whole point. Is that you're especially after 40 years of indoctrination or whatever, right? You're just convinced of. You're not even convinced. You're just led to believe and not to question. Right? You have no reason to question because from your parents to your kindergarten teacher to your university professor, they've all put a globe in your hands, right, or a flag on the moon for you, and so you just know it, right? And so, but once you start coming across these types of communities and realizing, no, it's not just a bunch of redneck idiots, right? It's not just a bunch of whatever. These are people, serious people who have serious claims. And you know what's awesome? They actually use the scientific method, experimentation, and logic, right? And investigation to get to their results, right? Or their claims. So, yeah, no, I think you guys are all doing great work. I appreciate it. I'm learning a ton.
Thank you, man. And shout out to Nathan Oakley, man. Appreciate you doing all that you do, man.
Yeah, big shout out to Big Oak and our new friend here. Yeah, feel free to pull up a chair anytime.
Yeah, no, I just love listening in. So I don't really probably have all the tools that you guys have developed over the last 8 years. I guess you guys have really been at it, and I'm just learning, right? So keep it up.
Well,
are you subscribed? Sorry, CB. Are you subscribed to the YouTube channel and the Rumble channels as well, both Video Skeptic and Mayhem's?
So, like to the 24/7 live one.
Do you know about the Rumble channel? You'd have to type in Mayhem 100, all one word.
Okay, no, I'll take a look. I did subscribe to like the 24/7 live feed or whatever channel that you guys have for this.
Yeah. Here, I'll drop a link for the Mayhem 100 for those out there listening. They're curious. Rumble.
Yeah, it's always good to join those YouTube and Rumble channels, especially because the people in here make a lot of content. So I think it's always good to show our support and make sure that we're subscribed to them as well. Especially if you get to know them as well. They're really, really good people like Mayhem, for example, and Helio. Great people in the server that put a lot of time and effort in. So for all those people that do in the server, it's also a really good way to like watch and listen. Sorry, yeah, probably best listen. It's probably best, well, not probably best, but it's a good way to listen, basically, if you can't be in the server on Rumble and on YouTube. So we've got lots of channels.
Yeah, I've been on the hunt for good resources. So, yeah, anything I can get my hands on at this point.
But welcome to the server, my friend. I'm glad that I asked you. Yeah, it's nice to catch up with you.
There's the link. There's the link in the live stream for anybody who wants to join the Rumble channel.
So I just did a query as to how many feet how many miles in 45,000 feet, because I know there's flights that are tracked even above 45,000 feet. So there's over 8 miles in 45,000 feet. So we can track flights of planes above the earth that far away, but we can't keep track of subs in the ocean.
I hear you. All right,
It's too dense, man.
It sounds stupid, right? But there's lots of technology, right, on an aircraft and at an airport and in between to keep track of these things. There wasn't and there isn't that type of technology on board this craft that went missing or anywhere down in the depths of the sea.
Well, no, I know, because that just would have made sense to have that tech on there. Sorry.
Oh, it would have made sense for them to have some type of thing that went ping so people knew where they bloody were. Of course it would make sense, right? But that's how they get away with the story about things on Mars, for example, that we were talking about earlier. Because, signals exist and we can fucking send them, then we can send them to Mars. And we should be able to send them down to the bottom of the ocean because signals exist and they go ping. We can record these signals, right? It doesn't mean that we always are, or we definitely are in Mars's case.
Oh, well, I hope that missing sub gives a lot of confidence to the first, 10, 15 people they send to Mars?
This is a severe blow to space travel. Think about it. If they were supposed to go to space, this place, imagine the pressures would be like magnitudes more than what they are under the ocean outwardly instead of inwardly, right? They don't have a chance. Like, why weren't any of these things tested that we could find out? It would be public information if they had tested their valves and the hull structures and all of this stuff in a vacuum. There would be test results for every single one of these missions. Did anybody find any of them? Has anybody found any one?
Sonny, remember that to seal yourself away from the vacuum of space, all you need is ring, plastic rings. Remember, from the cupola.
O-rings. Yeah, O-rings.
Yeah, that's all you need, bro. Did you know that?
Yeah, I used to make O-rings. I used to make not the O-rings. I used to make pump shafts and things like this, valves that were for valves that would keep water out of submarines. I machined parts that had the O-rings. I actually manufactured the O-ring in the metal itself. And so some of those O-rings surfaces had 2,000 pounds per square inch of pressure they were holding out.
And you built those right on ship, right, Sonny?
Is that for
I was on a big repair ship. We fixed submarines.
Sonny, there's have to be something presented, like some type of comparison between this submarine situation with, the outer space stuff.
Yeah, somebody with better math skills than I should do the pressure differential, and then we could do an analysis on materials.
Yeah, because there's a lot of eyes. Like, we're talking millions of people are like paying attention to this submarine stuff. So it might be a good point to present. That's just me thinking about it. It might not be a good thing, but
I think it's like this major thing, and especially that since it's NASA's equipment. So how many failures did they have in the whole entire Apollo mission? How many failures where people died? Oh, none? None. None died.
It's a miracle.
None died.
It's a miracle.
No smashed up or blown up freaking Apollo capsules or command modules. None of that shit. What happened?
Well, there was those three guys that got cooked on the ground. Remember?
Can I talk? Yeah. No.
This is driving the freaking stake into the heart of NASA, right into the ground where it belongs on the flat.
2 seconds, Sonny. 2 seconds. Somebody asked if they can talk. Who asked if they could talk? Who was that?
So you're asking who died, if anyone died during the Apollo, right?
During Apollo.
We know astronauts died, but they were not in training at the time. They were civilians at the time when they died. Like, they were out in town. I mean, I guess they were never civilians. But yeah, I think like 13 astronauts died mysteriously, but it had nothing to do with testing the equipment.
Wait, on Apollo 13 in the history, they didn't die.
Pardon?
According to NASA, they didn't die. They just returned back to Earth normally. But on Apollo 1,
that's Challenger.
Challenger and Columbia, I think.
I'm just talking about Apollo 1. The 3 crew member died at an experiment on the ground who was supposed to test the capsule, and the capsule just burned. But it wasn't the ground. This is just to answer to you who died during the Apollo program.
No, during the emissions. He said during the missions.
No,
the Apollo missions.
But that can be considered as a mission.
Don't get off track.
That wasn't the mission. That was training. That was the program.
Don't get off track. It's not during the mission. It's the testing done before a mission. You do testing, right?
Yeah.
Well, where were the tests? Where are the tests?
Where are they done at? Are they done on Earth or are they done in space?
Sheepdog, you keep diverting from my question. You keep changing it. So not where were they done, like well, hold on. Yeah, what was actually done in testing? Where is that information is what I'm saying. Where's the information about the testing, not the in mission, the testing before the mission?
If you're asking where I saw it, it's
No,
basically
I'm not
everywhere.
I'm not asking you where you saw it. I'm asking you, where is it? Not what you saw, what they said that they did. They have to have tests before they do it. Where are those tests? Where's the information for the tests? The data, the facts, you know.
I mean, I think you might can see it on the NASA website, and also there must be a lot of,
There must
Can you
be.
stop
Sounds
that,
like
please?
a singer in the choir telling me there must be information out there. I'm the singer.
Come on. But obviously, you're not going to be able to answer this question. Sonic's trying to point you to the fact that there isn't any. For you to turn around and say, "Hey, look, Sonny, just press a couple of buttons on Google," which I'm sure you haven't done yet, is probably not going to get you the answer and demonstrate to us that you've still definitely not got the answer, because there isn't one. There is no testing, right? And if there is, where is it then?
Yeah. So from NASA's own mouth, they're saying this radiation is too great. 2 millimeter thick aluminum. Get a grasp on that. It's a little bit, I think maybe I could have the number wrong, but it's a little bit thicker than like aluminum foil. It's like tin covering on a house, like, you know, it's not enough to do anything.
What happens to a pressurized container when the outside pressure is less than the high pressure involved, as in much, much, much less? What happens to that container, Lexa? Lexa, that was a
Wait, okay, sorry, I was muted. So what you're saying is what exactly?
Yeah, that's the
what
question.
What I'm asking is, what happens to a container of gas within a pressure environment that is much, much, much lower than that? What happens to that container? If the outside pressure is very weak.
And the container is open or something like that. It does it let air pass through?
In this case, aluminium metal about 2 millimeters thick, but we can call it a Coke can if you want. Let's say a pressurized cylinder or canister that's got pressurized gas inside it. What's it going to do when the outside pressure isn't equal or higher than it?
Well, the air will travel and make it equal.
I'll answer it for you, right? The container will expand. Will try its best to, because the gas inside isn't met with any equal force from the outside, or higher force from the outside, or higher pressure from the outside, if it's in a vacuum, for example. So that higher pressure system is going to try and expand the area that it is in, because it's free and able to do so. And the only thing that's stopping it is how thick or what the container is made of. In this instance, let's say the International Space Station, 2 millimeters worth of aluminium. Now, to have a contained environment within a vacuum causes problems. Do you remember the Tesla car that went into space about 5 years ago, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember that was a stock car. They told us that we didn't do anything to it, we just chucked it in space. Awesome, cool, that's fine. But when you've got tyres with contained gas, when you've got seating with foam in with pockets of contained gas, you know and I know and everybody else knows that according to laws of nature, like we've just spoken about, they should expand. No tyres went pop, no foam seating or any other contained environment, and we can even speak about maybe components of the engine and piping, for example, that were contained, didn't expand. You would expect this within anything that's contained within a vacuum. especially when they tell us that there's 2 millimeters worth of container separating high pressure system from low pressure system. Things should expand. They don't. We also understand that these pressure environments require containment for there to be under pressure in the first place. The Earth is declared to be an open system devoid of containment, therefore we shouldn't be under pressure, and there's nothing physical keeping the gas here, so how the fuck are we breathing anyway? But apart from that,
to be honest, they must have just removed the air from the tire.
yeah, no, they didn't. And for you to turn around and come up with some kind of anecdotal, actually made up on the spot answer should make you think. Because really, that's not what they said that they did. And nothing has ever gone into space and expanded. And when we're told stories like a micrometeorite has gone through the wall of the International Space Station, causing a hole, and the best thing to do is just put your finger over it. When we know that when we watch Aliens, the best thing to get the thing out of the cargo hold is to open the fucking doors and expose it to the vacuum of space, and off it fucking goes, because gas fills space and takes everything fucking with it. So within these contradictions, we can talk about, this, that, and the other within the vacuum of space. But is the vacuum of space even real? No. See that you've got that globe Earth role, my friend. So you obviously think that the Earth is spinning, but we're in the vacuum of space that we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, about just air and stuff. We always say, and by we I mean a globe Earth, that it is gravity who is pulling the air to stay on Earth. But I think right now I'm sorry.
Do you know the problem with that?
If gravity exists, and so if gravity exists, Earth should stay on Earth. If it does exist, and the thing is that you might not believe in gravity, and right now I'm just too tired, and I think I'll just go to bed right now.
Of course, no problem at all. You just go to bed. You do have kind of a misunderstanding about why space doesn't exist if you're just going to say that you can put gravity over it, but maybe we'll speak about it another time. You're too tired.
Just to let you know, before I go, there is an experiment who is proving gravity called the Cavendish experiment. But
sorry, are you just going to throw that into the water like your final insult type bomb for the night? Hope it explodes and walk out the door.
No,
that's even true.
No, not like that. Don't.
Alexa, before you go to bed, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this bomb back at you. In the Cavendish experiment, were those spheres spinning to demonstrate gravity? Were those spheres spinning?
Wow. Shit. If we're gonna throw fucking bombs back, I'll throw you one. I'll give you gravity, even though the Cavendish experiment is not an experiment because it doesn't follow the scientific method. And is obviously the first thing, not the second type of idea that they came up with, because Einstein superseded that fucking idea. I'll tell you what, I'll give you it just for shits and giggles. I will remind you, though, that gravity is just a phenomenon of shit going down, and gas don't do that. Gas goes in all directions and feels the limitation of its environment. So just for shits and giggles, if we're tossing the last final bombs around, I'll give you gravity, but we can't even start science with it because you don't have an observable phenomena of it, if I give it to you, doing anything to gas. Gravity is just down, gas expands in all directions. There's your final bomb for the evening. You can go if you want, you can sleep on that.
Yeah, just for you, what the Cavendish experiment is not following according to the scientific method. What is wrong about the Cavendish experiments?
What's the naturally observed phenomena, the dependent variable? What is the hypothesis that independent variable cause and effect of relationship supposition? So what's the dependent variable with the phenomena in the physical and natural world? What is it?
It is gravity.
You can't point at it and say that that's it, dude.
Wait,
Yeah, that's just the words of this instance.
That's
So I'll
the thing
walk you
you're trying
through it.
to prove.
Stay awake for it. I'll walk you through it if you're going to stay awake for it, being as you brought it back up. But you have to have a phenomena, something happening. Gravity, at this instance, is just a word. So a phenomena, something happening in the physical natural world, if we're doing science. What is it? In the Cavendish experiment.
What is what? Sorry.
What is the dependent variable, the phenomena, the thing happening in the physical natural world? If we're doing science, you understand that we're trying to answer the question of what causes the thing to happen. First instance, what's happening? So dependent variable, please. In the Cavendish experiment, what's the observed phenomena in the physical natural world, please?
The observed phenomenon in the Cavendish experiment, I think that's what you're asking, is just we can see the balls, the weights attached to the stick, going closer to the weight that we put next to them.
Awesome.
No, you said when you say
hold on.
Is that what you were trying to get to, Jedi?
Yeah. So when I asked you for an observed phenomena in a physical natural world, your first instance is to point down to the man-made device, the Cavendish experiment, and say, this is happening. We're on the way to building a formal logical fallacy at the moment, my friend, but at the moment, your naturally observed phenomena in the physical and natural world, you have to give me something happening in the physical and natural world, please. And then it has to appear in the experiment because we want to try and figure out what caused that to happen. But balls attracted to each other in your experiment, I'm going to need a lot better than that. Something from the physical natural world that we're trying to answer.
Well, I think what we're trying to answer is gravity real?
What's gravity?
What's gravity? Yes.
At the moment, all right, you just placed in the first instance, you tried to place your phenomena as gravity. We're going to try and figure out that you're going to really want to place your cause as gravity. But then I'm going to ask you, what was the hypothesis in Cavendish? You haven't even got to that yet. So you've got a blind belief that this experiment is scientific without understanding the science. Because you should understand that if I'm asking you for something happening in the physical and natural world, a phenomena, you should be able to point to something happening in the physical and natural world. What is it?
The hypothesis of the Cavendish experiment is just I mean I think it is just I'm not sure right now. Okay.
Right now, have you ever known? It's just escaped you for this instance because you're tired.
Well, I guess the hypothesis is just is object no our object pulling each other,
You don't know what a hypothesis is, do you? And I've tried to help you formulate it by asking you what the hypothesis was in the Cavendish experiment and asking you what the dependent variable was, the phenomena, and reminding you that we want to figure out the cause of the phenomena. That would be the independent variable. So we're asking what caused that to happen. We then test it in an experiment. But if you don't know what the hypothesis was in Cavendish, one, I'm worried that you probably don't even know what a scientific hypothesis is because you definitely haven't given it to me and you didn't know what an independent variable was. Probably why I was even asking you for something in the physical and natural world, it seems. But ultimately, there is no formulated proper hypothesis in the Cavendish experiment, so therefore does not follow the scientific method. You pointed straight away to something happening within the device. Yeah, in the device. It doesn't happen in the physical and natural world.
Okay, but just beside all of that,
It doesn't follow the scientific method, so it's not scientific proof of gravity, right?
Yeah, but
Or am I mistaken, and you're going to tell me that I'm mistaken, even though you don't know what science is? Is that going to happen? You're just going to wander off.
just simple question for you. If it isn't gravity who's making the balls moving around, what would it be?
I don't know. What are you varying and manipulating in the Cavendish experiment? What is the presumed cause? Don't just assert gravity and say it's got something to do with it. If you're going to be doing science and you're going to assert gravity as the cause, you better make it fucking physical so you can physically manipulate to see if it causes that fucking thing in the physical and natural world to happen. So I don't know. What did you or did they manipulate in the Cavendish experiment to try and build this hypothesis?
Can I just point out that would be also a burden of proof reversal fallacy?
So if the cause of something to happen is scientifically proven, then the thing that you better vary and manipulate better be fucking gravity, right? Have they varied and manipulated gravity in the Cavendish experiment? Because in the hypothesis, it's not gravity. Still with me, sunshine?
You still here, Alexa?
Yeah, I think I can hear you. Yes.
Good. So you understand that when people are presented with Cavendish, they should understand that it's not a scientific experiment because it doesn't follow the scientific method. And nowhere within the experiment or the hypothesis does the word that you keep saying, gravity, appear. So they definitely didn't prove it as the cause of anything, otherwise it would be the independent variable, which it's not. And this is also why they moved on to another idea, Einstein's general relativity, bending and warping, consequence of math and space-time. So not the first idea that you're talking about. That's 100 years out of date. Not scientifically valid. Newton himself, who came up with this idea well before Cavendish, didn't want to be associated with the quote-unquote magic at a distance. Things at a part attract each other because they're so big. Because they're so big. Being so big, you can call that math. It's not a scientific experiment. And most definitely not attracting gas. Remember you say, this is the reason why the gas is staying here. Well, no, it's not. Because gas goes in all directions. In actual fact, it's made at surface level within the surface of the Earth, chemical and biological cycles, and then disperses into the space above the mass, away from the mass, and disperses into all space where masses are not, because that's the void that it fucking builds. And then it is what? If the Earth is an open system, and we have no observed phenomena of the thing that it's leaving it behind, keeping it here, then how can you say that the phenomena of it is actually existing? It isn't. We don't see it. The gas is moving in all directions. Gravity, when you assert it without scientific proof, it's just a vector downwards because you can drop shit. Not gas. Let go of gas, uncontained gas, off it fucking goes. All directions. So like I said, I keep it gravity. I don't have to, but I will. But scientifically, observe phenomena to something happening where the gas isn't acting in the way that you want it to. So nothing's happening then. You understand, Lexa, yes?
Yes, I think I do.
Good. So space to vacuum isn't real. Yes?
Do you want my answer to that?
Yeah. Understanding this can only lead you to the conclusion, well, when they tell us that up there's a vacuum and we're uncontained from it, devoid of the necessary antecedent for gas pressure, without something physical to keep it here, and the magic fairy dust that I've just asserted, which has been demonstrated to be not been scientifically valid in the first place, and is observably not affecting gas in the fucking first instant, and not defying a law of nature, then yes, logically, you must come to understand that up there, when they tell us is a vacuum, is not. Do you understand?
Well, I think I do, but something just weird is that I really, I mean, no matter how I try to explain it, it's really hard for me to understand what is wrong about the Cavendish experiment, which you really don't like or don't.
What is wrong with it? Okay, let's try and formulate that hypothesis. Within the hypothesis, you've got two variables. You've got three within an experiment. One of them's controlled. The things that you keep are the same. Two things. Dependent variable. This is the thing happening. Independent variable is the cause of that happening. The hypothesis is your supposition. What causes, independent variable in brackets, that to happen, dependent variable in brackets. Cause and effect. You will then test this hypothesis in a physical experiment where you, the researcher, will vary and manipulate your presumed cause, the independent variable, to see if it does or does not cause that to happen. Either way, you would have demonstrated something to be true. It will either have caused it to happen or not caused it to happen. The independent in an experiment is gravity, then you've got to give us gravity. And it has to appear in the hypothesis.
May I just add that you must have observed something prior to the formulation of your hypothesis.
Yeah, there's something happening. Which is what I've taken away when you try to attribute the gravity that you assert to gases. You don't have the phenomena of something happening. Gravity is the vector downwards, gas disperses in all directions, so you don't have a phenomenon. Therefore, you haven't got a question to answer. Can't have science.
Does that make sense to you, Lexa?
The process is that you observe a natural phenomenon, right? And then you formulate a hypothesis, right? Using the steps which Jedi outlined, and then you perform the experiment. You don't do an experiment and then observe something, right? And then try and work out what's happening. You're doing it the ass up.
Okay.
Real quick, Lexa, can you kind of repeat like how the scientific method is performed in a science experiment?
You need a hypothesis.
Go ahead.
Hmm?
Go ahead. I won't. I'm not going to romp on your words. Go ahead.
Okay, so in an experiment, you need a hypothesis. Then you need a variable, and what you witness. I think.
Do you know how to do a science experiment?
I think I do.
Just say you don't. Just say, you be honest. Just say you don't.
No. I really think I do.
I mean, I know you're young, so we don't expect you to have like in-depth knowledge of it.
This is probably a moment. This is probably a moment to be humble because, hey, we asked you, have you done this experiment or could you do this experiment? Yeah, it sounds like with a helping hand and being told what to do, because only up until now you really start to question what science is. I would put money on. Right? It's only up until having this conversation where somebody like myself and these other fine gentlemen in the server pointed out that the scientific method is a step-by-step process where we try and answer one question basically, and it's what caused that to happen. That being a phenomena, your dependent variable, your presumed cause, the independent variable. And like I said, science, experiment, right? What you do in the experiment is test to see if this caused that to happen. That's basically what science is. It's not very complicated at all. People seem to think that as soon as you say that science has proven something, and you can say that it's proven gravity, well, then let's look into that. Because according to the scientific method, no, that hasn't been proven. And Cavendish most definitely isn't following the scientific method. So not proof of anything.
Okay. Yeah, just as I told you a bit earlier, would you mind if I go
You
sleep?
can go whenever you fucking want, mate. You don't have to bloody
No,
stay
no,
here. You
just
started chucking bombs back in, so we threw one out, and you decided to hold on to it, and we rattled it around, and it should have exploded in your face. So you can go if you
okay,
want to, but I want you to understand
okay,
you
just
haven't got science
It
here, and it's not keeping gas.
okay,
it did explode in his
please,
face, Jedi, because he didn't know it did. So
okay, just please be kind and don't say.
Yeah, sorry.
Just say don't. Just please don't say the F word. It's a bit mean. Whatever. Yeah. You know, I just want to finish it off and stuff.
Just gonna make me want to do it more. You take things away from me, I'm gonna want to do it.
Yeah, Alexa, in France, you don't use that word, but in England, people use it a lot, like coffee. Fuck!
Okay, I see.
But Lexa, you're free to go. Just like whenever you bow out gracefully, don't like throw a bomb in the room before you bow out, dude. That's kind of rude.
Okay.
Especially one that you're gonna call Cavendish. Yeah, that bomb's not gonna explode in here, mate. You're gonna have to carry that one out by yourself.
All right.
You understand why, though? I noticed a tone of derision. Ugh, stupid flat earthers saying that my science and Cavendish isn't proof of gravity. Do you understand why or are you just going to go?
Yeah.
All the time.
And real quick, before you go, Lexa, next time you come in here, instead of bringing evidence for the globe, you should probably try to understand the scientific process a lot better. If you understood that, then you might question some of these experiments, supposed experiments that are done by proving the globe.
And that's what I'm trying to do every time. I'm looking at a new experiment proving the Earth is a
Don't look at the experiment. Look at the process. What's the scientific method involved?
Yeah, that's
figure out
also
what an experiment is first. Figure that out.
What is an experiment? Not what experiment proves the globe. What is an actual scientific experiment?
Okay.
How is it done? How is it performed?
You're asking me the question?
No, I'm saying like that's something that you should bring into the conversation next time you come in here. Like I don't want to keep you here because I know you're tired, and I'm being respectful on that. But the next time you have free time, like when you wake up tomorrow, whatever you got going on, don't try to disprove flat Earth or don't try to prove the globe. Just research how to do a scientific experiment. What is the scientific method? Don't put globe in there. Don't put flat Earth in there. Just what is a scientific experiment?
All right.
I think that's important for you to learn so that way when people like Jedi, who is a Jedi, comes in here and explains to you what the scientific method is and wants to know what the variables are involved for formulating the hypothesis, then you understand why those things are important for the scientific method.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've got homework.
Okay, I'll do that.
But anyway, thank you for coming in and sharing time with us.
Yeah, okay, that's also pretty great. No insult, no bad thing happened, so I guess it was okay.
Yeah. Well, and tell your brother we said hi.
Oh, if he's not here.
Well, I mean, whenever you see him, just say, hey, those guys on 24/7 Flat Earth Discord, they said hi.
Okay, I'll tell him tomorrow.
Okay.
He's sleeping right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, goodbye, and see you tomorrow.
Sleep well, friend.
Thank you, you too, and for everyone.
Thank you, Lex.
Goodbye.
Talking to you, sir. Have a good one. Bye.
Yeah, bye bye. Yes.
Cavendish. No, I'm just kidding.
Tags! What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.